and welcome back to the free Learn to Crochet the Easy Way Masterclass. This is a 14-day course that was designed to help you feel confident in the basics of crochet and to help you in making everything that you've dreamed of. I'm your instructor, Sigoni, and today we will be learning how to tie a slip knot and how to create the chain stitch. And this is a very important lesson because the chain stitch is how you will start almost every crochet project. Before we get started, make sure to download a free sample of my Learn to Crochet ebook, which I will link in the description box below. For every video in this course, there is a related page inside the ebook with 70 plus pages, full lesson, step-by-step picture tutorials, both left and right-handed, checklists, reference sheets, and both of the written patterns for the projects we will be working on later in this course. You will also gain access to all of these videos ad-free on the Teachable platform. Today, we are finally putting our new tools to good use by learning how to make a slip knot and how to chain. Learning how to create a slip knot is one of the most important things to learn because it's how you will tie a knot to your crochet hook and start a project. So today I'm going to show you a few different ways how to do that. And like I said before, the chain stitch is how you will start almost every crochet project, so that is also a very important step to learn. Creating a chain is relatively straightforward and easy. However, what most people struggle with is tension, like I was talking about in yesterday's video. But again, that is something that will come with time and practice. Now, before we start learning how to make the slip knot and a chain, I wanted to talk a little bit about abbreviations. With crochet, you will find a lot of abbreviations. And a lot of these abbreviations you will find within crochet patterns. And right now, you're probably not thinking about reading crochet patterns, but you will eventually. So as I'm explaining each of the stitches to you in this course, I'm also going to show the abbreviation as well as the US and UK terms. I will also leave a link in the description box that has a general list from the Craft Yarn Council on all of the abbreviations that you can come across. And this is something that you can print out, hang up on your wall, or keep it inside a notebook if you ever need to reference it. Now, talking about US versus UK terms, this is another big thing. All of the stitches and everything around the world are the same, but depending on where you live, they may have a different name. So because I am based in the US, I will always be talking in US terms, but I will also always reference the UK term as well, just in case that's where you're from. And even if you're not in the UK terms are good to know because you might come across a UK designer and you'll want to know what terms they're referencing if you want to make their pattern too. Today we're going to learn how to create a slip knot and how to create the chain stitch. First, let's go over how to create a slip knot. Here we have our yarn. This here is the end of our yarn, and we call that the tail end. And the strand that comes from the ball of yarn over here is called the working yarn. So we're going to take the tail end of our yarn, hold it with your thumb, your middle, and your ring finger. And then we're going to take the working yarn and hold it in between our pointer and middle finger. Now you're going to cross the working yarn on top of your tail end, insert your fingers, and grab the working yarn and pull it through the hole. And that is how you create a slip knot. We're going to make a giant circle. Our tail end is here, our working yarn is over here. Place your working yarn over your circle, just like this. And then we're going to push this strand through our loop. So we have this strand, we're pushing it through the circle, and then we're going to grab it and pull it down just like that. Now just insert your hook and pull the working yarn to tighten your slip knot. And remember, we don't want it too tight, we just want it tight enough so that it moves back and forth on our hook pretty easily. So to create a chain, I hold my crochet hook like a knife, and then I hold my yarn in my left hand between my pointer and middle finger, and I just kind of let it flow after that. But I use my pointer and middle finger to tension my yarn. So if I want it to be tighter, I just hold them together tighter. In lesson 2, you should have experimented with this just a little bit, but you won't really start getting the hang of holding your yarn and hook until you start practicing. And so that's what we're doing today. So to start your chain, we're going to yarn over, and that simply means that we are wrapping the yarn around our hook. So we're going from the back of the hook over to the front. And you'll make sure that your crochet hook, that the head of the hook is always pointing down so that you can grab the yarn and pull it through. And that's your first chain. So we're going to yarn over and pull that yarn through the loop on our hook. Now we'll try that again. So yarn over, make sure your hook is facing down, and pull through that loop. And now we have 3 chains. So we'll do this, I'll do this a couple more times slowly. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. You'll move your fingers up with your chain as you go along. So if I make a couple chains here, I'm going to want to readjust by placing my fingers closer to where I'm chaining. So I'll do a couple, and then I'll move up. Create 3 more chains, and move up. And that's how you create a chain. Now, if your chain does not look like this, do not freak out. That's completely normal. The more you practice, the better your chain will get. So continue chaining and chaining and chaining. And if you feel like you're making too many chains, I promise you're not. You could chain and chain and chain until you've made a nice long necklace for yourself, if that's what you want. Learning to chain will help you get the hang of holding your hook. It lets you practice and adjust your tension as needed, and it gets you ready for future projects because this is going to be how you start almost every one of your projects. Today's challenge is to practice both methods of tying a slip knot, and then chain and chain and chain until your heart's content. And that is it for lesson 3, the slip knot and the chain stitch. If you have any questions about today's tutorials, just leave them in the comments below, and I will happily get your questions answered. In the next lesson, we're going to be learning the single crochet stitch. And with this stitch alone, you can create many different projects. Again, check the description to download a free sample of my Learn to Crochet ebook. And as always, I'm your instructor, Sigoni, and I will see you in the next one.